Big story of the week. 2 British Army colonels. Now, for those of you who don't know the importance of a colonel is a big deal. 2 British colonels is a very big deal. And one unnamed MI6 operative, as they call them these days, spy we used to call them, were all captured in a daring Spetsnaz raid on a Ukrainian military base. The British first denied that the men had been taken, claiming falsely that they were still in London. Then that they were tourists with a special interest in maritime history and were merely touring in the war zone to look at the sites of World War II battlefields. Well, we may well be on the site of World War III's battlefield, but we'll come to that in a minute. Then they moved to demanding that the Russian authorities treat these tourists according to the laws of war, and that they be treated properly as prisoners of war. And then they went back to the tourist narrative, that these men were entirely innocent. They were the equivalent of train spotters on the battlefield in Ukraine. I don't know what the current extant British government position is, but I do know that the Russians will not be in a hurry to, as the British also suggested, exchange them for Russian prisoners of note. I know that the propaganda value for the Russian government of putting on trial British military personnel on charges of war crimes, for which, theoretically at least, they could face the death penalty, because to unacknowledged enter a war zone, to pretend that you're a tourist when you are in fact an active participant in acts of war, to be coordinating, as the Russian side claims, these acts of war, which include long-range rocket attacks on Russian civilian targets well inside Russia. One of them this week, more than 1,000 kilometers inside Russia, near Samara, where an oil depot was set in a spectacular blaze. All of these are crimes of war. And so we will not have heard the last of this matter, even though many British people watching are now, with me speaking, hearing the first of this matter, because not a single British media outlet has reported this story.